Nas has did it as Jay-Z is out here scrambling and confused why he was denied. Nas gets approved and looks like he just defeated Jay-Z again. So the whole world is up in arms as to what just happened here. As Nas got this shocking approval. You know what I'm saying? So it was surprising to most because they never expected anything like this. And now that it's happened, everybody's looking around, looking over their shoulder in disbelief. And it's like, wow, this really happened. It really went down this way. And now the whole world is like, Nas won! So the average person is looking at this as Nas won and Jay-Z lost. And for Jay-Z's ego, that could create a whole new beef. So it's become, you know how Jay ego is, where the sabotage game is. But let me tell you what weirdly happened back in the beginning of all of this. So we're going to get to it, and then we're going to go from there because it made Jay look real bad in the end. This looked like a really bad blow on Jay, to be honest. He took a bad swing. Now, when we look at the end of it and we start thinking about all of these little things that they do, when Jay-Z wore that shirt and had Takeover on it, they consider that a little disrespectful. It's like if Nas wore a shirt that said Ether, Jay might feel a certain way. No, he didn't have a Takeover shirt. That was the rumor. Somebody had altered his shirt to say Takeover, but he didn't have it. It says Grace Under Pressure. That's the shirt that Jay-Z wore. But people didn't see it that way. And you know how people do. They twist up words and things go in another direction. See, this is what I'm saying. It become a borough thing, and it's hard to tell people from the hood the optics, the details behind it. It's always the optics of what it looks like. And this is why New York is New York. Dog, people, this is what I keep telling people. Nas and Jay could be cool. These boroughs, man, it pre-exists what they are. Like before them, this tension is there no matter what. If you don't have Nas and Jay, Queensboro and Brooklyn is always going to have some tension. That's just how it is. It's crazy. It's just how it is, man. Some people over there, and they got family that live over there. They be having a cousin in Brooklyn. Their auntie live over there. They ain't got nothing to do with it. It's the environment you in. Dude, I don't like Brooklyn cat. I swear to God, it just be crazy. Now, let's get to the optics. because people want to see and know the optics of what's happening and how it's happening. You feel me? So when they got into this project of expansion, in case you guys didn't know, it was a lot more on the table than what you pretty much can imagine. There was a lot going on. And I say that to say the least. But you feel me when I keep talking about that instance. But since we're talking, let's get to the reasons why. Hi, I'm Carcino. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world. And I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Back, now we can get into it. We just did the intro. We ready to rock here. Now, back in 2022, Jay-Z was trying to get this casino done back in 2022. He was trying to build and orchestrate his team and the people that was getting behind him. Now, at this time, when he was getting ready to do this, Jay was working with Nas, and they had just was linked up tight, brothers. And they had recorded this track on for DJ Khaled album. You know, they was in the casino. And they was talking about the casino deal. This is why it was at the casino table. You got Jay smoking a stogie with Nas. This was the talk. Jay, this is what the world don't know. Nas was supposed to be with Jay-Z on that project with Alicia Keys, Charlemagne, Al Sharpton. There's a couple of other preachers and reverends. They were supposed to get millions in kickbacks. Like Al Sharpton was getting like 10 million. Live Nation and all these people was putting up bids like, you're going to get 10, 15 million here. You, the preacher, for bringing in all the awareness and the people and preaching it at your church, all this stuff. You getting hit off with a new youth center and all this. So people were getting their rewards. And they tried to get Nas to recruit to be on. And he was telling Nas about it. And he was like, yo, we got this thing, it works, you know, but we got to be like quiet on it. But, you know, you my brother, and I want to bring Queens in on this too. You know, I'm thinking that, you know, it's going to be like one nation. We're going to have Fat Joe from the Bronx. And, you know, we get to own a casino in New York. You know, right down in Madison Square, you know, in Manhattan. It's going to be amazing. Nas, yes, ill. Word. So Nas is sitting there like, yeah, still, son. Word. So while this is going on, this conversation with Nas and all of this is going on, right? He's working on King's Disease 3. So he's in recording mode. So while everybody's moving forward with like, yo, I'm in. I'm kind of my contributions, everything. I'm in. Nas wanted to know some more information about what's going on. You know, he's got his King's Disease 3s coming out. He got Mass Appeal. And everybody was raving over King's Disease 3. And Jay-Z just kept stepping over on Nas's projects. Like every time Nas would drop, Jay-Z would drop something. You know, and this didn't go unnoticed. Like Nas is like, yeah, that is kind of crazy. You know, dude always competing. So that's just how he looked at it. But in real time, Nas was kind of not dealing with Jay. He was kind of separating himself from Jay. Because that whole thing with the Nasir launch, and when he did that whole project and they put that out and they went in those directions. And he was telling people a little bit, and you can pick it off if you was listening and paying attention to Adam and Eve. So it was a deal for 3 casinos, right? Because Nas is dragging his feet on if he gonna join the project or not. He wanted more information. Jay's just talking about the revenue, what they gonna get. That's all Jay was talking is money. Like, you're gonna be real happy. Your children's gonna be happy. And he was just like, word. Yeah, I just wanna have my team look at this. You know, I want to see what's going on. So he just wanted to know what was going on, and he was not being fed any information. He's supposed to just go off blind faith and go off, I'm Jay. Follow me. Jay, get the money. Just come in blind. So Nas was like, all right, send me something. So allegedly, Desiree Perez sent Nas over some information. This information was like a docket. It's private. You can't share it. It's one of them zip folder things. Nas couldn't open it. He didn't know how. He didn't know how to open the zip folder. So now Nas think something's funny. Like, man, they sent me this thing, man. I think it's from Jay people. And then, so Nas got to go get some people that understand this stuff. And then they was like, oh, it's a zip file. And Nas didn't open it in time. And it had a time limit on it. And he couldn't open it. And they was like, man, just ask them to resend it because you didn't know how to unlock the zip folder. So yes, Nas didn't know how to open a zip folder, dog. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. He's one of the greatest rappers, but he ain't that computer literate, man. I'm trying to tell you. He ain't got time for that. Yeah, so once again, sent them the zip file. I'm telling you how far this goes back. This is about 3-4 years ago. Once again, he's in album mode. He ain't thinking about none of the nonsense. He's not thinking about casino or all of this stuff that's going on, right? Now, there was 3 bids that was going on at the time. So Jay is like, screw it. If Nas ain't in, Nas ain't in. You know, like, we don't need Nas to get this. Like, we good. He just gonna miss out. So this is Jay getting all the press. So he was like, I'm not sending him. I ain't going through that. You know, like, let him be in his own world. He want to be a rapper, let him be a rapper. So, because Nas is putting out records now. You got King's Disease. They raving over King's Disease 3. And he's like, this is the Nas back. He's back to being Nas. So Nas is getting praise. He's loving the music world. So he got all these leftover songs. He was just making music at this time. He wasn't really focused on that. So then he does Magic 2. Then the news break about Jay-Z finna get the casino right on the release of Magic 2. Delivered, right? Trying to step on the promotion and marketing of what Nas is putting out. Nas got an announcement. Jay want to put something out every time now. You know, he's upset. He didn't get what he wanted. So he wanted to have the Nas and Jay sitting over there. You know, we finna be Manhattan. We the kings of New York. He had the whole thing marketed down. So that didn't work. Yeah, exactly. So there was no beef, but they weren't dealing with each other. It's just like somebody you know you cool with, but you just ain't doing no business with them like that. Especially if you feel like you don't trust it. So Jay Nas forgot all about it. He saw Jay was doing the casino. He was all right, good for him. Yeah, I hope my brother do good with the casino. Like he got no bitterness towards Jay with the casino. Like, man, I missed out. He was like, man, that's good. You know, word. I'm trying to, do what's good over here at my label. Now, what Nas had to straighten out at his place of operations was a lawsuit from a white girl, right? This white girl came in and tried to say that she was being racially profiled working at Mass Appeal, right? So she had this discriminatory lawsuit out against Nas's label. They was able to keep all that quiet, and they paid the white girl. They just settled out of court, pay her what she want, get her out of here. Because they was favoring more the black people than the white people that worked here. So Nas and them said, all right, this is what we're going to do. What the white girl's talking about, that ain't nothing. So before we move forward with what we doing, pay her off, get that out of here. We don't even want that here. Gone. Here's this little bit of money you think is a lot of money. Go. Bye-bye. Now you're done. But sign the paperwork to get the money. Sign the paperwork so she can't do no more damage to the company. She can't come back. She can't do anything. And if she violated in any way, Mass Appeal get to sue her. And they'll end up getting the money right back. So she's just pretty much just got to shut up. And most of y'all didn't even know that happened. So with all of this happening, there was 3 casino approvals that were done. And when the 3 casino approvals were done, at the end, they had this other one in project development because they wanted to do 3 different projects that they was going to approve with the Resorts World Casino. They was looking for a deal because it was 3 openings. So the Queens project, because it's already exists, they just want an expansion on what they got, and they own the Aqueduct racetrack. So they came, it was like, okay, they got Jay-Z. We doing this Queens project thing. We got to get Nas. So once again, Nas is like, I get to have a casino in Queens, near Queens. Oh, okay. That's what I'm talking about. And it's a $5.5 billion expansion. So his team they running everything down to Nas's team. Nas is like, okay, all right. Nas asked, all right, I see what y'all need. Y'all need the star power. They need Nas's star power because Nas carry a lot of weight, obviously, right? So when you need Nas's star power to push the product, you need him to move the culture forward. You need Nas to make this thing go because this is going to give it the global appeal that the world want to see. And when you don't have that, you end up having a major problem. Thanks, Lewis. Nah, because see, when it came down to the casino, Nas had questions. And unlike what Jay was saying, Nas wanted to know what benefits that you gonna do to Queens. It wasn't about him getting money. He wanted to make sure Queens eat. So the Queens Community Advisory Committee, Nas had the votes. Nas had the votes before he even got on board. The whole board was like, Nas is involved? The whole board is Nas fans in the Queens Community Advisory Board. Jay-Z had to deal with a board that don't even like him. He dealing with Manhattan. And even though he did the song with Alicia Keys, they don't like him. They rather listen to the Alicia Keys version. Now, if Alicia Keys wanted to do something, maybe. But Jay being involved and wanting to be the face of it was the bigger problem. He thought New York loved him like that, like the people he appeasing to. Now, unlike Jay-Z's proposal, Nas' proposal and his $5 billion expansion includes jobs, revenue, community support by the project. He wants it to go back to supporting Queens. It has to go back to supporting the neighborhood. I want jobs. I want revenue for them. And that's non-negotiable. That has to go back to the community of Queens. You got to do stuff for Queens. It has to go down or I can't be involved. So right away, that was a sticking point for him. Now, yeah, that's the sticking point. It's like when you see one thing happen and develop and another thing didn't. Jay talked about all the money that they could get. Right? It was like, for your kids, your future. We're gonna secure your kids' future. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Jay's thinking monetarily inwards. Nas is thinking outwards. Nas felt like we straight, Destiny straight, the kids are straight, Night is straight, like we straight over here. But it's a lot of brothers ain't. And if I could do something to at least kick back to the hood, then I will feel better. So that's how Nas is looking at it. I want to feel better about the project. So if I ain't feeling better about it, something's wrong. Something's off. He said, I grew up at Ecuador. Yeah, so that was off, way off. So now Jay-Z project wasn't guaranteed to put nothing into it. Nothing was in writing to say that. So Nas got involved back in February of last year when they finally got the approval of him being involved. So February of 2024, Nas got involved in the project. Now, Jay, from the beginning, was dealing with opposition. Jay was dealing with opposition from the door. Soon as they tried to launch, it was immediately met by the broadcast league, theater operators. I told you who the person was that really put the stamp down. The union, the Teamsters, the Rainbow people that run those theaters. They run the Tony Awards. Those are the people that selected the board, that supersedes the governor, the mayor. And I'm like, Jay, you don't know that? I'm sitting on the couch and I know that. How you don't know them, the people you gotta take care of? And they tried to grease the palms and was like, you want to sit down and meet with Jay-Z? And they was like, we don't care about no Jay-Z. They was like, oh, do you know who his wife is? Like, you know who we married to, right? Like, if you know, you get to meet Beyonce too. Like, if you don't like Jay, that's what they was pushing. Like, oh, you don't like him? Well, we got this for you. Oh, you didn't like him over there? Okay, well, we got that for you. That's crazy because all of that is already in New York. They act like that don't exist in Manhattan. They have crime there. They have traffic there. They have prostitutes there. They have dealers in Madison Square. They act like it don't. It's just like they cool with their dealers. You know how many white drug dealers and people got pills and stuff that they giving to these people down there? They act like what? Gay people don't do drugs and people in the theater don't do drugs. You think these guys bringing their escorts in there? They just call them different words. It's the same thing. They go into these places with escorts and all kind of stuff out there. So all of this is there, but they love to put that stigma on something that appears to be black, even though it's not black. You know, Jay-Z's black and he's putting his face on it. So it's like, oh, black man, oh no, he's going to be the face. You can't have that. So definitely, location was key. While casino nights, you know, that can go pretty much anywhere, culture, community, but Times Square, that's detrimental, you know, to a lot of people there. So they opposed all of that. Where Nas benefits from strong community support because, one, they are fans of Nas. So they dealing with two different giants. Jay-Z's fighting an opposition where Nas is basically the prodigal son, returns home.
Couldn't have been done without everybody here. With that being said, I'm getting ready.
This is the president of the board of the Queensboro
done without everybody
project. He's the guy
that was not present at the meeting.
Listen to the president.
It couldn't have been done without everybody here. With that being said, I'm getting ready to vote, and there's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas is a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. I just had to rub that in. You can let the Brooklyn Borough president know that I send my regards to him. With that being said, I vote aye.
Our president votes in an aye, and some conflict will be brewing. I'll move a little way through.
This is the president of the borough. The president of the borough comes in there. This is the president that's voting on this project. This dude came right in off the rip. Jay-Z, we won again. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Dog, if you can't tell me I'm good, oh, if the president of the board is talking like that, I'm good. Nas had no problems. Hey, dog, that whole board, he got 6-0. Wasn't nobody voting against Nas. They from Queens. They was not going to vote down. Do you hear the president of the union? Yo, we won again. Yo, Queens get the money. When this dude say Queens get the money, that's the president of the board. He's the president of this thing, putting it together. Queens get the money. Jay-Z, we won again. I just gotta say, this is what I keep telling you. Some people that rep they borough, dog, that's what they about. They might like, look, I might not have nothing in life. This might be it for me. I ain't gonna be no millionaire. I'm cool, but this is where I'm from. This is my borough, son. And this is what I'm repping. This is just how it goes. And Jay's ego, I don't know how it's going to sustain this. He might put out a new album and take some jabs at Nas just because he, the ego bruise. Yeah, it's the ego. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this Nas tried to tell y'all on Adam and Eve. Y'all just didn't know a lot of this stuff was going on at the time. What comes first, peace or the paper? Before I had a piece of paper, peace was in my favor. Before I sat down to eat at the table, I had leeches and traitors cut from the fat of the meat, extract the weak, bon appetit, no bacon, brothers is swine. It's hard to trust them because my hustle was mine. It's evident they all the same. Hey, with gray hair and steam mill mugging, gray hairs of wisdom. That means you've seen something. Stay fronting, but these clowns got false crowns, fictional kings. You broke my heart, Fredo. You bring this thing of ours down to a fable. Be advised, my guy's dying, enterprising at the boss. Yeah. Insecurities is keeping you disabled. That's what he's talking about. So that was fire. That's that Adam and Eve. He was telling y'all on Adam and Eve the whole time. You in here jamming on the phone. Yeah, so that's what that was about. So, yeah. But that's how the union president was talking. That's how crazy it was. I tell you, people gonna rep their hood no matter what to the fullest. They don't know how to stop. Why would you stop that?
It's World Casino. At least one legislator couldn't help but make fun of Jay-Z, whose attempt to open a Caesars Palace casino wasn't as successful. Before casting his decisive vote, Queens Borough President Donovan Richards took it upon himself to praise Jay and Roc Nation's casino ambitions, even though the Illmatic legend was not present at the meeting.
It couldn't have been done without everybody here. With that being said, I'm getting ready to vote, and there's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas is a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. I just had to rub that in. You can let the Brooklyn Borough President know that I send my regards to him. With that being said, I vote aye.
Borough president votes in an aye, and sometimes flip will be brewing. I'll move a little away from you. Next up is myself, representing myself as the state assemblywoman in this district. I have to say this has been an opportunity of my professional career as the assemblywoman.
But he made it clear that he was throwing some ether at Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso to slow down his soul's burning. Desiree Perez, the president of Rock Nation, attacked the negative voters for having too much faith in their ability to bring massive amounts of capital to the BK region.
So she slammed the board, said thank you to the governor, the mayor for standing up for New York. Unfortunately, not every politician has the courage and foresight to do what's right by their constituents. So that's what popped off.
Capital to the BK region.
So I don't know where this leaves Jay. This is a bad look. A lot of money was lost. I don't know why he thought this was going to go over because he had the governor and the mayor. The governor and the mayor just played you. They just took the money, dog. They knew that they couldn't pass that. All they could do was get you to the dance, but they couldn't persuade all of the voters. They knew you weren't going to get the vote, but they're going to get the bag off you. You're going to lose. But whatever favors you gave to them, you can't say they didn't do their job. They did what they knew you was going to lose. They got you to the point A to point B. The rest was on you, and you couldn't do it. That's your team fault. Nas was focused on the hood. Like, he knew the board. He had the votes. The votes was locked up. That was the president talking like that. When the president of the board said, Queens, get the money at the meeting, you already know what he was thinking. It was over the whole nine. Yeah, so they didn't have a shot. So everybody in the back who was talking like all the other noise, okay, yeah, I got to get over here. I get copywritten. Yeah. Yeah, so that's how all that went. Yeah, I was asleep when you called me, man. I was passed out asleep. And I was like, I never get to sleep no more. I was asleep for a bit. I woke up like, it's dark.
Yeah. Long sleep. Ain't no big place here. He's sleeping on.
Yep.
Now he's no 5.5 million.
Yeah. He went and got the deal done. Jay tried to get him and screwed that up. And now, you know, he looked silly. He out here looking silly because he thought he had New York love like that with the Pank folks. Nah. See, Nas got Queens. You know, he wanted to have Manhattan. He wanted the whole, you know, the Pank folk New York. He wanted downtown. He thought they loved him like that. He got Beyonce. This don't work. Nah, they ain't see it like that. Not at all. They saw it just the opposite. Let me see what we got here. No, I don't like these. No, they got the wrong type of songs for me. Let me try this. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here.